Hello, we're back again with a little bit more of Minecraft, and I think I'm I'm going to mine a little bit. I'm kind of just starting this very haphazardly because man oh man, it's been a couple of months if I say so. I mean, I'm way better now, but oof, mental health is no joke. Took a pretty substantial nosedive when it comes to mental stability, but you win some, you lose some. And well, for it, I think it's important to have. I don't know what I'm doing. It's important to have some dark moments in order for you to appreciate the good ones. Because, whew, oh boy, shit was not fun. But at least I found. Well, for me at least, I think I found a lot of cool things that I didn't suppose I wouldn't end up liking. For example, I'm taking how do I say this? But I've been captivated and almost sunk. I don't know if that's a good translation, but I've been. I think the captivated it's a better usage of the word by linguistics, most specifically psycholinguistics. I think it's shit. I already. It's been such a long time that I forgot that I already had that shit. But yeah, it's been invigorating. It's been my main motivation now that, well, after some pretty depressive episode that I had, it's been my main drive force, and almost to a point that well, the thought of leaving my career well, occurred, like it passed through my mind, which I'm not. I'm determined to finish and get my godforsaken title. But after that, I'm full hog wild on linguistics, and I want to get into the specialty of psycholinguistics because once you, well, from what I've uh, researched, I don't know if that's a proper usage of the word. Yeah, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I want to study psycholinguistics, and I don't know how to properly English. But yeah, I want to get into that here. Oh shit. I want to properly get into that area, but first I need to finish this first career, and then I'm going to be full focused on the other one, which I think it's going to be a little bit hard. I don't think that it's going to be easy because, well, first of all I need to finish the fucking career, and then find a job, save up to pay for the other career, and then start from zero almost. But that's an area that I am deeply, deeply interested in. I've been looking some videos, some research papers, and it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole idea, well, not the idea, but the concept of how the mind constructs language and almost all the cognitive processes that the mind has to go through in order for you to structure words properly to communicate, and how the words we utter shape the way we think. I think it's pretty cool. Well, it's been super interesting for me, especially now that I am like in the middle of a epiphany of actually discovering what I want to dedicate my life to, because honestly, part of the way I felt, I don't know how to properly say this, but one of the reasons I like felt deeply depressed is because I felt stuck, really stuck on my area of studies or my career, because it felt too easy. I didn't feel that I had much else to do outside of just being a teacher. But well, I was going to say that thanks to linguistics I kind of found my second calling. Sorry, but yeah, I felt super stuck. I mean, it's not like I I don't know. It's hard for me to explain, but for me at least, I think I don't want to be an English teacher anymore because that's what I thought I wanted to do. But I don't know, mainly because, well, mainly because I don't think English is that difficult for me. It's part of the reason why I felt so stuck and with no, I don't know, no ambitions, no, oh shit. Yeah, the cool thing about Minecraft Bedrock is that enemies can hit you from 10 blocks away, and that's awesome. Pretty interesting to see when they're going to fix that, but given Mojang's current track record and priorities, which is just fixing the internal code of Java, I don't think that's coming. Oh my god, voice crack. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. So, getting back on track, yeah, it's been rough, but at least now I feel way better. I know what I want to do. I don't feel stuck anymore, and yeah. And following that first train of thought, yeah, I just felt stuck and with not much else to do. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh shit! It's been a long time since I've played that I almost forgot how the controls work. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so apparently this whole column was useless. So yeah, it's just been feelings. Yeah, I think that's the main word. Just feeling stuck with not much more else to do than being this overworked and underpaid English teacher, especially in a third world country where education is just a joke. Not only the institution as a whole, but the whole. I think the whole. I don't know if I can call it industry, the education industry, but the entire system is fucking awful. So, for me at least, I now know what I want to do, and well, being a psycholinguist also means that I have to like, I don't, I don't know, like be involved in that area for what I have been researching, but for me it sounds way more appealing, the idea of researching, testing, coming up with new discoveries and shit. Mainly the idea of researching. It's been super cool. I've just finished my first reading of The Language Instinct by the cognitive psychologist Steven Pinker, and man, oh man, it's so fucking cool. Well, I in a personal level, I find it really interesting how the whole what I've just explained, the whole cognitive process of how we come up with words, how we structure them, how we have this tendency of wanting to communicate. I think that was first proposed by Charles Darwin, if I remember correctly. I need to read that book again because I've also been trying to. I need a pickaxe. I've also been super keen on reading and trying to get my reading a lot better, mainly because I've almost, well, I think if I remember correctly, the last time I've properly read was when, Jesus, I don't know how to properly English. The last time I've properly read a book was in high school. Jesus Christ. Here's the future psycholinguistic not able to structure sentences properly. My syntax is way off right now. And I already lost my train of thought. Fuck. Oh yeah, I've read the book. I needed to read it again, just in order to Oh yeah, my reading skills. Yeah, my reading skills were always like sub-elementary, I would say. Super bad reading. Like I've never put in the proper effort to properly read, like to actually deconstruct what I'm reading, like take into account, I don't know, maybe context, the intentions of the author, what the author is trying to say, reading between the lines, all that sort of, like the act of the critical reading I've never been super good at, like ever. So I'm trying to um, polish those set of skills. I don't know if I can make, I don't know how it's said in English, the stone cutter. Well, let's make, because I don't, let's let's make stone cutter. Yeah, let's make a stone cutter because I'm going to need me brain don't work. I think it's 3 stones. Okay. So yeah, I need. I've been practicing a lot with my reading, and by that I mean reading the book, how to read a book, which fuck, I don't know where the author was. Shit. By Mortimer J. Adler, I think it was. Jesus. So, yeah, so I've been reading that book in order to know the proper steps in order to read critically, analytically, and synoptically. Synoptically, I think that's the word. And I'm going to need that if I aspire to be as good of a linguist or more of a psycholinguist, because that specialty, I think it's super cool and interesting, and it's been reinvigorating, especially when like I said earlier, I felt awful with my career choice and all that sort of stuff. So it's been, so so I've read that book. I'm planning to read it again to well, I plan to read that book multiple times, because no first reading is enough, and to properly grasp what are the main ideas and the concepts of that book. Mainly because it's just the thesis of the book is just why it, well, it's in the title, right? Why do we have an instinctive tendency to talk? And I think what I was going to say with me mentioning Charles Darwin, because he has a quote of a child has a doesn't have a tendency to, no, I'm going to misquote him very hard, but the quote is basically talking about how children have a tendency to talk, but they don't have a tendency to, what was it? Bake, brew, and write. So yeah, the book of the language instinct just expands on that. It brings up a lot of examples, like the how descriptive uses of language are like acquired, and I'm going to, yeah, that's because Jesus, I don't know how to string thoughts properly. So yeah, the book explains that basically. Just why it is an instinct, why do we have a tendency to talk, and it brings a lot of examples like certain dialects of multiple regions, how I don't know how to explain it, how we make distinctions of language, like when humanity first started to explore different, especially in the American continent, like how they will see indigenous people talking and they referred as of babbling, and that babbling was language. It's a different structure of language, but it's language nonetheless. It's a means to an end. They're using it in order to communicate and to pass on knowledge, needs, and well, express basically just the main expression of how to communicate, the expression which is communicate, like I want this, or I'm going to teach something, or I don't know, like pass down knowledge is one that I found particularly interesting, on how like we explained, well, how our ancestors explained cause and effect, like if you cook, no, well, if you put, not if you cook, because the concept of cooking wasn't known back then, but if you put meat in fire, it's going to get cooked and it's, I don't know, tastes better, or it's more nutritious. So I mean, they didn't know that back then, but it's, I don't know, those specific instances in which language was pivotal for our progress. And that also extends on how we are being able to, we are able to rationalize, or how we explain, or well, explain moral values, or express moral values, or individual values. And I mean, it's a whole rabbit hole. I'm not going to explain that because, one, I don't grasp the concept and topic that very well. I'm just tipping my toes in that whole area. That's why, because, well, that's why I really want to finish this career and then start the another one to properly investigate a lot more. So I'm not qualified and educated enough to have a, not only have an opinion, but to fully explain and to fully sell to you the idea of why it's so cool. Because for me, as much as I like this topic, right now I have a very superficial knowledge, or I have a very superficial grasp of the whole area, or the whole area of that shit. So I know a little bit of linguistics, like phonetics, phonology, morphology and syntax, how noun, well, the basics of grammar, right? Like how nouns work, how to properly structure sentences, how to use words properly, when to use a verb, when to use a noun, how to use an adjective, what's a suffix, an affix, what are morphemes, like what free morphemes, but like very surface level linguistics. That's because in my current career, the main objective is just how to teach. That's basically how to teaching 101. That's my career right now. But so basically it's just, yeah, very surface level linguistics, but I want to learn a lot more. I'm just like in this hype. I don't know, I don't know what to, yeah, I was going to finish this shit. Yeah, so yeah, it's been super cool. Quite a bit of quite a bit of an oh my god, one thing that I want to keep is just try to make these videos a more frequently occurrence, just because I still have this problem of thinking in Spanish then translating in English, and that horrible habit needs to go. But yeah, quite like I was saying, it's quite a bit of an how is it say, an awkward timing, on unopportune time. I think that's how it's said. Jesus, I need to practice more. I mean, the Spanish word it's inoportuno, but I don't know how to say it in English. I lack the word. inopportunity. Well, whatever. Well, my fall away my original train of thought. Yeah, it was kind of like an awkward timing for me to realize what I really want and what I am really interested in, which is the whole area of linguistics, more specifically psycholinguistics, but that's a whole specialty that I need to do once I finish the career of linguistics, and a couple other careers. I think uh, psychologist. I think it was another one that you can have in order to have that specialty. But yeah, quite a bit of an awkward time to realize what I actually want to do for a living, instead of just like, because I am right now about to finish my college career. So yeah, that's what I said, that I had some thoughts ruminating about giving up this career, but no, I'm going to stick with it, finish it, and then I'm going to, well, first, well, it's going to be a harder, well, it's going to be way easier said than done, but find a job, save up some money, and then uh, pay another career, which is that linguistics. So yeah, it's been quite the couple of months, basically finding myself again, seeing what I actually want. Like I said, this epiphany of oh my god, I actually love this thing. Because when I started my career, I think I was 18, 19, and I was like, just, yeah, I mean, I know I know English, so might as well just be an English teacher, right? And yeah, I felt stuck. I felt aimless. That's a better word, aimless, because the career never challenged me. Never challenged me. I always had like the best scores, top of the class, and it was just boring. I just remember like, and ironically, the two subjects that I thoroughly enjoyed were morphology and syntax and phonetics and phonology, and those were the hardest subjects that I had to pass, but they were interesting, they were captivating. Well, at least for me, because I know for a fact that every one of my classmates hated those subjects. But I don't know, yeah, for me it was way more appealing to being this. I don't know, and that, I think that was the first sign that those really hard subjects were the first time or the first sign for me in order to discover what I actually like in the area. Because I know how to talk in English a little bit. I mean, if this recording session proves anything, is that I need to really hone down those skills, like proper skills, because that's the thing with language. Like, if you stop using it and practicing, it gets lost, and lost hard. So for me, I actually need to make a habit to making these type of videos, because not only it helps me to string thoughts more naturally, but I mean, I tend to have I tend to be a little bit more nitpicky when it comes to pronunciation, and I know I have a quote unquote decent pronunciation. I mean, I'm well aware that I still have a Spanish accent, but I think I'm capable of having a quite good or slightly above average pronunciation, and I think it's a cool thing to practice. But I mean, yet no matter how much you try to avoid it, and you could have the best English imaginable, but if English is not your first, and that if the language you're trying to learn is not the first language you learn, you're going to have an accent. Either it's Spanish, English, German, Polish, Swedish. No matter what language you learn, you're going to have an accent, and that's the case for me. that's the case for me. No matter how good you are at, you know, the syntax, at grammar, you're going to have an accent. But I think I have a pretty good pronunciation. I mean, pronunciation and accents are two different things, I think, in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm too nitpicky with myself, or I expect too much out of myself. But I think I can get better. I can get way better if I put the proper timing in order to, you know, practice. And oh, Jesus, 25 minutes in, and I've done absolutely nothing. I think oh shit. Ah, I forget that I have a different control scheme for this, because I basically have bumper jumper. For those who are uninitiated, bumper jumper is a control scheme primarily used in shooters, which you jump with, well, it's in the name of the control scheme, right? With the bumper, which mainly lets you like look around or aim without taking the right stick, or well, the right thumb out of your right stick. So it's pretty cool. The problem is that not every game works well with bumper jumper because it's primarily used in shooters, mainly arena shooters like Halo or even Titanfall. I think Titanfall 2 has bumper jumper control scheme, and I think some COD game. I think Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. I don't remember, but yeah, it's a control scheme primarily used in shooters, not survival games. I mean, technically it's a first-person game, but the control scheme doesn't translate well to this kind of game because you have to change a lot of shit in order to properly work. But yeah, I'm trying my best to get accustomed to that shit, because once you get accustomed, it feels pretty good. So actually, so right now I'm having trouble opening up my inventory because I have two buttons two buttons mapped to that, and yeah, it's a little bit hard. And so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because it's been cathartic, and yeah, I think I'm going to, I don't know, I feel that I did almost nothing in this episode. So I think we're going to extend it a little bit more, but I don't know what to do. My plan was just to make some readjustments on the house, but yeah, I think I'm going to finish that. And we're going to wrap the episode around because we're coming up to the 30-minute mark. And I think I should have played another game like Halo or or Resident Evil 4 in order for me to explain my feelings towards school and such. But I think, well, I'm confident. Well, at least I hope I get better with. I mean, I get better at explaining myself over time. Ah, shit. Yeah, it's not fun to have. Well, to have the. Well, to. Jesus. In order to change my items, I don't know how to say it, my items, the item bar, you usually use the right bumper and the left bumper. But since I have bumper jumper, now I don't have the set bumper in order to change. So what I did was to change my my right item and left item to the face buttons of X and Y. So X is left and Y is right. and it's it's strange, but I think I'm getting better at it. So, well, if you don't believe me, I'm going to put it here in controller. I think it was yeah, I mean, like blah, blah, blah. You can see like jump, it's in left bumper, and there we go. Cycle item left, cycle item right, X and Y, and sprint mapped to A, because I hate the games that have sprint on the left stick. If hating COD, oh my god, what's up with my voice cracks? Wasn't enough for their malicious practices, having to have every game in the world be a sprint via left stick, well, that's another reason. Because that's the game that popularized that control scheme, to just sprint with left stick. I think even Gears of War did that. I think it was Gears of War Judgment that had sprint with the left stick instead of A, and that was shit. I mean, the game itself was pretty mediocre, but it didn't help that the default control scheme was kind of alien to the Gears of War community, including myself, having played the entire trilogy and then come to Judgment. It was really jarring and bad and awful, and I didn't like it. Okay, 31 minutes, Jesus. Okay, I don't know what else to do. Yeah, I think it was a really bad idea. Let's make it a longer video. We're going to dedicate a little bit more time to mining, and then we're going to wrap it at that. So first of all, let's organize ourselves. Let's craft well, let's repair our bow. I know it's not the optimal way to repair. What I just did wasn't optimal, but whatever. I'm going to regret it later. The problem is I don't have that much food outside of meat and a couple of melons, so might as well just... Okay, this, I'm not going to need that, I'm not going to need that. Maybe the bucket is going to be of use if I encounter some fluids. Ah shit, my algae. How is it? Algae, right? Kelp. My kelp. The thing is that I don't want to waste the kelp, so yeah, I'm just going to do that. We're going to make some wood, some stone if I need to craft something, and I don't have any logs. Shit. Well, I'm going to this. I'm not going to need that. I'm going to keep my ores if I need to craft something ASAP, and I should have made a smoker because it's going to take a little bit. I mean, I could edit that part, but I'm not quite good at editing. But I'm going to make the screw it. I'm going to make the effort. If it takes too much time or whatever, I'm going to edit that part out. Because that's why editing softwares exist in the first place. Or maybe not, because apparently this is not going to take that much time. So yeah, Mm, okay, yeah, where's my coal? My coal. My coal. There we go. Okay, let's go onward with our pilgrimage. Oh yeah, this is going to take quite a while. I think I'm going to edit this part. Yeah, I need to change this. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this shit. Okay, I don't know if this is a dead end, but there's some lava there, so... Okay, there's an end torch. I don't know if that word exists in the English lexicon, but maybe it is. I might... Holy moly, okay. I might want to research that. Is end torch a proper word in the English dictionary or vocabulary? Okay, outside of that massive blunder, I don't know. That's why you don't mine straight down, because that shit happens. And I was lucky to have that water near me, because if not, I would have... Ooh. And I was going to say Energon main vein for some reason. I don't know, I've always had Transformers be rent-free in my mind. So yeah, let's gather some iron because I need to upgrade as soon as possible my... How is it called? My copper armor. Yeah, I need... Not only do I need to read more, but I need this type of videos. Okay, I need to be wary of that Enderman. If not, I'm going to be eviscerated if I'm not careful, because it's not like copper armor is good. Okay, we have a pretty huge mine here. So let's... blah, blah, blah. First, I'm going to focus on on this vein because oh shit, I don't have a sword to fight that zombie. Oh fuck. Ah yes, I do have sword. I do have sword. Yeah, one thing for me, it's well, one of the biggest challenges for me when learning English is that you don't pronounce the letters, or certain letters, and especially when you want to articulate certain words properly, or like talk fast. Like my brain tries to catch up with the articulation and all this stuff that happens in the back end, like assimilation, articulation, all like speech patterns, all that shit. It's kind of hard because in Spanish we're accustomed to pronounce every single vowel and consonant and pronounce it. I may be wrong, but I don't think there's a single Spanish word that isn't... No, there isn't any Spanish letter that isn't pronounced in words. So I mean, in general, that's one of the biggest challenges. Challenges. I don't know if other languages are the same. I think Italian and Portuguese also pronounce every, because they're very... Italian and Spanish. Well, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese are very similar. Very, very similar. So I don't know if they also have this particular feature or characteristic of pronouncing every single word. So yeah, getting back on track. Yeah, that's really Oh, there's the block that I was looking for. And I forgot how to crouch. Ah, yeah, this was... So yeah, it's mainly the... At least for me, the articulation of the letters and the words. And having a fluid and... Ooh, another block that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. So yeah, that's been kind of hard, but I think I'm getting good. Well, I plan to get better at it the more I upload this shit, because if I want to be a professional linguist or hopefully future psycholinguist, I need to get down not only my expertise on my mother language or mother tongue, but also my second or even third language, which I'm trying to learn German, but Jesus, it's whew, that's a handful of a language, if I say so. Especially the compositas, which are like word compounds. There are multiple words stringed together in order to explain something like wooden table or something. I don't remember the name, but for the composita, but whoa, whoa. I think that's going to be the hardest thing, because there's a couple of similarities. I mean, not. I mean, technically, Spanish, English and German are far more related, because well, English comes from Germanic, which well, there's German, so a lot of English words are similar. Oh my god, I don't... Brain doesn't work. So yeah, what I was trying to say is that, yeah, one particular thing that I wanted to point out is that they have gendered words, which Spanish has. And what I wanted to say is that Spanish and German have a particular similarity, which is just the gendered words, basically, because in English there's no gender. And I think it's hard for non-English speakers to understand, or I don't know what other language has like neutral words, because for an example, like in Spanish is la silla, and la indicates, well, feminine, and German I think is mine and meine, or was it? I'm just starting, so, or was it? Because it's, or I think it's certain professions. Like I said, in Spanish we have like la maestra. In English it's just teacher, but in Spanish is la, that indicates the gender. The article la, it's basically the, but gendered, and maestra, which is, well, teacher, but with the particular characteristic that, well, the morpheme, I don't know if I had morpheme a indicates the gender, which is feminine, like maestra, or maestro, which is masculine. The O indicates masculine. Masculine. And I'm pretty sure that German has the same thing, like gendered stuff, which I found kind of interesting, and I don't think I'm going to have that much of a problem in that particular aspect of the language, but my main worry is the how to properly not only speak it and pronounce it properly, but man, those compositas are going to be a pain in the butt to master, especially if I want to have my syntax on point, which eventually I will. I know there's this. I mean, it's not a myth. It's objectively speaking, it's harder to learn a language the older you get. But since I've learned English from a very young age, even though I'm not that particularly good at certain aspects, I think I have a pretty good grasp of. Okay, I didn't think that was that near, but shit. Apparently I was wrong. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to have that much of a problem. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time, like a lot of time. Like I calculate that to properly know the ins and outs of German at my current pace, easily like maybe 6 or maybe even 10 years, I think. But it's possible. I mean, it's not going to take. I mean, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fast. But I know I'm capable. I know I'm capable. I know my strengths and skills and techniques. Mainly, it's just language exposure. That's the secret in order to learn any language fast. It's just language. That's the secret formula, just language exposure. I'm starting to get pretty dry. I think I'm just going to mine that. I don't know if I can mine it with this. Oh, yeah, perfect. And then I don't know if you can hear it, but my dog is barking like a motherfucker. So yeah, I'm going to. Now the big question is, where did I come from? Oh shit, I don't have torches. Okay, let me equip the axe. I mean, I could craft an axe. I mean, I have the resources for it, but I'm going to be stubborn about it. And well, my spatial awareness skills are okay. Water. Was that diamond? No. Okay, I think yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm going to have this shit in order to familiarize myself, and I think I also did that with the other. Oh shit! Which is in Bedrock are. Oof. Oof. They're a menace. They're a big, fat menace. All right, okay. I'm pretty satisfied with my mining run. So now, Jesus. I'm going to first of all fix this, and off we go. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it at that. Well, first of all, I'm going to need to build a blast furnace if I want to. Okay, let me make this more. Knowing my fucking awful spatial awareness, as you just saw, I'm going to make it especially clear that this is the way. Maybe I will, in the future, I will put up a sign. Oh, Jesus. We're almost 50 minutes in, so right in time. So yeah, we're going to leave it at that. I think I'm going to have a more consistent upload schedule because I need to hone down those skills. So yeah, I'm going to sleep and I'm going to leave it at that. So maybe in a couple of days, if not the next week, we're going to have another video up. And maybe I'm going to continue finally finish my Combat Evolved campaign and continue with the Resident Evil campaign, because those are accumulating dust. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and well, bye bye.